In this video I'll be discussing variation in gravity or acceleration due to gravity. So both are same things. Acceleration is gravity, is nothing else, g only, right? So there can be one case. First case is above the surface of earth. Okay, so let us assume this is our earth, which has mass me, radius is, let's say, r. Suppose that there is a particle which is certainly h height above the surface of the earth. So this distance is h, mass is m. So I wanted to know the acceleration due to gravity at this point P. So what I can do here, I can see that gravitational force F gravitational magnitude will be given by G me m upon, this time this will be total distance, right? So total distance, say let's say x, which will be r plus h only. So this will be r plus h whole square this time, correct? And we know that this fg is nothing else. We know that if there is a mass m, then there will be force mg, which will be equal to F gravitation. So I can write here, so I can assume this is, let's say, mg effective at this moment. So mg effective is equal to g me m upon r plus h whole square. Say this is equation number 1. Here this is cancelled out. So equation number 1, we can assume this one, g me upon r plus h whole square instead of this, correct? So this is going to be equation number 1. And then we know that g is equal to acceleration due to gravity on the surface of earth, which is nothing else g me upon r square. We know this is the formula, so we can utilize g me is equal to g r square, correct? So I can substitute here this value in equation number 1. If I do that, so I'll be gaining here g effective is equal to, instead of gme, this is gr square upon r plus h whole square. And then we can write g upon 1 upon r square into r plus h whole square. And then it can be written as r plus h upon capital R whole square. Perfect. So g effective will be is equal to g upon 1 plus h upon r whole square, correct? This is going to be the value. Fine. Now I am taking one step further here. This formula you need to remember. Okay, g effective is equal to g upon 1 plus h by r whole square. What is one step further? I can assume h is very less than as in comparison to r. If that is true, then it can be written as g into 1 plus h upon r to the power minus 2. And then we can apply the binomial theorem further in mathematics. So 1 plus minus 2 h upon r, and if that is true, that means h square upon r square will be further very less, right? So we can ignore the other terms. So if we do that, we will achieve 1 minus 2h by r. So sometimes this formula is helpful when there is huge difference between R and H. So like we know that R is equal to 6400 kilometers. So suppose if H is equal to 1500 kilometers, then we can utilize this formula. Otherwise, for the longer hours, we have to remember this formula. So this is the change with height and gravity. Now I can also discuss for the below, if we go below the surface of the earth. So let me remove this, and then we will be discussing about the below the surface, correct? So now let us have the diagram that this is our earth and this is the center of the earth. Let's say radius is r. Now there was a particle on the surface. Now this particle is going certain height h below to the surface. So now particle is here. So this time we wanted to see what is the effect of such height. So now if I draw the circle or sphere, then this will be r minus h, this distance. This is the center O. Let's say this is point P. So the distance OP will be r minus h. So this time if I talk about that particle is at this point P and the mass of this earth was, total mass of this earth was m. So this time this mass will be m dash. So first task is to calculate the value of m dash. So now this is the enclosed volume. Which one? This is the enclosed volume, right? I can say V enclosed. So m dash will be equal to rho into V enclosed. Rho can be obtained here. Rho is equal to total mass divided by volume, which is m upon 4 by 3 pi r cube. Okay, this is m upon 4 pi by 3 r cube and into enclosed volume. So now this is the radius. So V enclosed is nothing else 4 by 3 pi OP cube, which is 4 by 3 pi r minus h whole cube. So if I substitute, I get 4 by 3 pi r minus h cube. So this 4 pi by 3 pi is cancelled out. M dash is m upon r cube into r minus h whole cube. Perfect. So this is going to be the value of m dash. Now we can apply F gravitation will be equal to G m dash m upon r minus h का whole square, right? So Fg will be equal to G, the value of m dash is m by r cube into r minus h whole cube, small m upon r minus h whole square, correct? So this is cancelled out. This is r minus h. So F gravitation can be obtained here G capital M r minus h small m upon r cube, correct? Now we know that the value of Fg will be given by m into G effective. So at this moment, if the gravitational acceleration due to gravity is G effective, then I can write Fg is nothing else m into G effective. So m into G effective is equal to G capital M small m into r minus h upon r cube. So this m is cancelled out. So G effective is equal to G capital M r minus h upon r cube, correct? Now one more thing is pretty important. We know the relation between G at the surface of the earth and gm. So we know that at the surface of the earth, g is given by gm upon r square. So we can write gr square is equal to gm. So we can utilize this fact. Then we can write g effective will be is equal to gr square into r minus h upon r cube. This is cancelled out, so we get g into r minus h upon r. We obtain 1 minus h by r. This is the value of g effective. So this time also we are achieving that if we go inside the surface of the earth, certain height h, still g is getting decreased. Okay, so we can also draw the graph, which is pretty much important. So we can draw the graph now. So let us remove this. Graph. This axis is representing g, okay, and this axis is representing your distance r from the center of the earth, and this point I am assuming we are at the surface, which is r is equal to r. So we know that g at surface is equal to gm upon r square, where r is equal to r. So this is at surface. Okay, that means this value is representing g is equal to gm upon r square. Obviously this is a constant value, which we know that. Right, now for the outside we received the formula g out, which is out means r is greater than r. That means we received g into or g divided by 1 plus h by r. 1 plus h by r. So we can write g into r square upon h plus r whole square, correct? So now this was the case when we were outside. That means at this point, this was the h, this was r. That means this r will be simply r plus h only, correct? That means g out will become gr square upon r square. This r is constant, so we can say that g out is inversely proportional to the distance square, right? That means this graph will be like this: g proportional to 1 upon r square. Now talking about the inside point, that means if we are coming down h height, the answer we obtained, that was recently calculated, which is g in was g into 1 minus h upon r. Here r is less than r, so let us write like this: this is r minus h upon r. So we can write g by r and r minus h. This time this is going to be the value r. So r is equal to capital R minus h this time. So this is small r. This value is a constant, so I can say g inside is proportional to r only. That means this is the straight line passing through the origin. That means graph will be varying like this. Great. So g is proportional to r. This graph is highly important. This was already asked earlier. Pretty important graph. So I believe you understood the variation part with respect to heights. Now there is another part which can also affect the gravity, which is latitude. So let's see with latitudes. So third point with latitude. So now in this case you have to understand because Earth is revolving with angular velocity omega, so because of that there is some change in due. That's why you must have heard that at poles and at equator G is different. So we will see how it affects. So let's say this is our Earth and this is the axis of rotation of this Earth. It is rotating like this. Suppose that this is the center of the Earth, this is radius r of the Earth. Suppose that there is a particle which is at this point, at P, which is making a certain angle theta from the horizontal, correct? If that is the scenario, then at any instant this particle would be revolving in this circle. Let's say this is r, this is capital R, this angle is theta, so this will be theta. So let's say triangle APO. So in triangle APO we can relate what this angle is theta. So AP by OP is equal to cos theta. So AP is going to be r cos theta, and obviously this AP is r small r, so small r is equal to r cos theta. Perfect. Now if you see at point P, so if I am drawing this point P here, then there will be certain mg towards the center of the Earth. So understand, this mg is the towards the center of the Earth, which we earlier know that. But the problem is that because of this omega, this P is rotating in this circle which is having radius r. So if we see in the reference frame of the Earth, so pseudo force will act on P. That means there will be a pseudo force in opposite direction. So if you stop Earth, you have to provide a centrifugal force which is mr omega square. You know that, right? So now this angle is theta, so this angle will be pi minus theta. That means there are two forces, one is mg, another is mr omega square at certain angle which is pi minus theta. So now you need to calculate the resultant of these two forces. So resultant of forces Fr will be given as under root of F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos theta. Okay, or let's say cos phi here. So here this phi angle is how much? Which is pi minus theta. F1 is mg and F2 is mr omega square. So we can substitute Fr is under root of F1 mg whole square plus mr omega square plus 2 F1 F2 cos phi. So that means 2 mg into mr omega square cos pi minus theta, not phi as we have taken in our diagram. So this is going to be the resultant of two forces. Now we have to solve this expression to make this is little bit easier. So we understand here this is going to be, we can take m square common, so this is g square plus r. We can substitute the value of r, which is r cos theta, so this is r square cos square theta into omega to the power 4 plus 2 omega square into g, and this r can be substituted as r cos theta. This is r cos theta, and you know that cos pi minus theta is all obviously in second quadrant, that means minus cos theta, correct? So this will be equal to m can be written outside, this will be under root of g square plus r square cos square theta omega to the power 4 minus 2 gr omega square into cos square theta. Okay, now let us take g also common. So this is equal to 1 plus r square cos square theta omega to the power 4 upon g square minus, if we have taken g common, so this is 2 r omega square by g into cos square theta. Okay, so now I got the value of f resultant. Now what I can say that this f resultant has to be equal to, let us say g effective is the resultant one, so I can write mg effective. So from here this can be written as mg effective, and which is equal to our this value. So this m and m is cancelled out, so we obtain g effective is equal to under root 1 minus r square cos square theta upon g square into omega to the power 4 minus 2 r omega square by g to cos square theta. So this is going to be the final expression. Though I would suggest you to not to remember this thing. What you can remember, let me tell you. So this is for the random angle, so I just taught you how to do it. Okay, now suppose that if they are asking for, let's say, case number 1 in this, poles and equator. So number 1, case A says at poles. So look, at poles, that means we are at here, point P is here. So clearly if you observe, this is our, so we have taken that angle from horizontal, so that means for poles theta will be 90 degree in that formula. Though if we don't know the formula, we can write at this point f resultant will be is equal to m into g, because only one force is applicable, which is m into g, and obviously m into 0 into omega square, because we are at that axis only. So this is mg. So mg effective, that means simply g effective is equal to g. So at poles, this is total equal to gravitational acceleration, there is no change. But at point equator, so if you substitute theta is equal to 90 degree in the bigger expression, you will get the same value. You can try and check. At equator, that means you are at this point, let's say P dash. So at P dash, what I can observe, theta is equal to 0. If you substitute in the expression, you should get the same result what I am going to achieve. So if you are at point P, mg will be toward the center of the earth, and of course it is rotating with angular velocity omega, so mr omega square. So f resultant at P dash can be written as mg minus mr omega square. This time small r will become capital R only, and because there are two opposite forces, so resultant can be simply written as mg minus mr omega square. You don't need to use that vector bigger formula, which will be g minus r omega square, which is nothing else mg effective. So this is cancelled out. So this time you are observing g effective is changed, which is g minus r omega square. Okay, so these are the small formulas which I should suggest you to remember. So from here we also observe g at pole is always greater than g at equator. Okay, so this result we can observe. So I believe you are very clear with the variation part. This is highly important part, variation in gravity due to this specific height change in the height, and simultaneously with the angular velocity omega of the earth. Fine, yeah.